Hello and welcome to another episode of the Peninsula Biz Buzz. My name is Shelley Smith. I'm one of the co-hosts here representing Premier Rapport and the Peninsula SHRM chapter.
Hey, Shelley. Bob Kent here, President and CEO of the Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce, the business model of which is trying to adapt to our current situation. And we are here today talking to Mayor Donnie Tuck of the city of Hampton, a city which was in the last year or so really thriving and moving forward on a lot of great fronts, great schools, great small business opportunities, great recreational and entertainment opportunities. Things were running on most cylinders. And Mayor Tuck, you and your city council members and city manager and school board, school superintendent and many others get a lot of great credit for the things that were going on. And then 3 weeks ago, the bottom fell out, not just in the city of Hampton, but everywhere. So we'd like to just kind of get your take on how has your daily routine changed during this COVID-19 response phase? What are the things that are going on in the city of Hampton today to make sure we come out the other end thriving again?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you for including me on your program. And secondly, to tell you that you almost broke my heart when you were recounting all the wonderful things that we had to boast about. Certainly our schools, and we actually thought we had considerable revenue forecasted for next year with a number of new businesses opening and just increased sales tax and things of that nature. Right now, I can say that our budget situation is probably the one that's most concerning to us, that things are really in a state of flux with the number of closures of our restaurants, motels, and even the gaming emporium. That said, even though in the midst of the uncertainty, we're extremely glad that our partnerships and how localities are working together. And in fact, how even some of our businesses have gotten very, very creative. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we have at least one company or business, Vanguard, which is the entertainment, brew pub, distillery. They're now making and donating hand sanitizer. We have Rosie's that I've mentioned previously that is feeding our first responders, and a company called Threat Tech that not many people are familiar with, but they've been working to invent reusable N95 masks. So we're very, very pleased with that. Some of our stores are offering special hours for our seniors and at-risk people. And then there have been quite a number of food drives and just people coming together, volunteering to help those who are most vulnerable in our population. So we're in the midst of all this. It's a very stressful time for individuals and businesses, but I think we're showing the best of ourselves as Hamptonians.
Absolutely. So that's very well said, I think. And one of the things that you just said made me think of regionalism. And I think going into this event, we were seeing a lot more collaboration, not just on the peninsula, but in the Hampton Roads region in general. And that will serve us well, but I think this will actually drive us towards an even closer working relationship with the other localities in the region. Can you comment on that?
Well, one of the things I do know, Bob, is that our city manager, Mary Bunning, is in regular contact with all the other city managers as well as county managers. And they're doing a lot of things behind the scenes, working on just distribution, support networks, things of that nature. I know that our hospitals are working together, and of course, we're waiting to hear from the governor as to whether or not our convention center is going to be chosen or selected as an alternate field hospital site. And part of the reason for that decision being made is that it's simply located for the region. So a number of different things, as you said, are showing themselves as far as a regionalism, which we thought before this crisis that we were starting to really pull together and work together as a region. But I think this has probably brought out the best of us.
Yes, sir. And so Hampton also includes NASA, so some federal facilities, NASA and Langley Air Force Base. And I know that you have fostered very close relationships with those facilities, with NASA and the military both. Can you comment on that?
Well, we're getting updates from NASA in terms of their operations. Of course, they sent a lot of their folks home. They're doing telework. Langley Air Force Base has closed down its base primarily to non-essential personnel They're giving the opportunity for retirees on Mondays and Tuesdays to come to base to shop primarily, as well as to pick up medicines and things of that nature. Have not heard as much from the VA Medical Center, but we also know that they have a number of cases there. So I think right now they're probably focused more on taking care of the cases that have manifested themselves there. But we're in touch with our federal partners.
Sir, so you are, when I think of leaders on the peninsula, and I think of Mayor Tuck, I always think of your optimism and your positivity and your big smile. And that's important in a leader because you have to instill confidence in the people. How are you finding that as a challenge now? Because I know I'm finding it as a challenge.
Well, one of the things that we have been doing, probably going back about 3 weeks or so, is we are regularly doing Facebook Live conversations involving our emergency management team, which is primarily our city manager, our chief of police, and our chief of our fire and rescue division. And we're doing our best to make sure that our residents are informed, that they know that we are, even though City Hall is closed, that we are still conducting business as usual. We are available online for certain functions that people need to get information about. We have our police and fire who are out and available, as well as we're doing our trash collections and street repairs. So we are not a city that is closed down, but we are actually doing our daily business, but we're doing it a different way. And I think that's what this time has called for, is that you still provide the services and things that people expect, but you're doing it in a different way.
So that's great, because you turned that around on me, and I thought that was particularly effective, because I asked about Donnie Tuck and you smiling and optimism, and you turned it around to be the face of the city, and that's really the important thing. The city is still open for business. We're still here to take care of your needs. So that's why you're the mayor, and I'm just some poor schmo at the Chamber of Commerce. So thanks for that answer. That was wonderful. Shelley, over to you. Do you have anything?
Yeah, Mayor, is there anything that we didn't ask, or that those that are listening and viewing should know? Anything else specifically about resources that are available in Hampton? You listed a few of the companies that they can get some additional support and resources, but is there anything else that really people should know about?
Well, I think one of the things that we feel is important right now is for individuals as best as they can to support our small and local businesses, particularly our restaurants, which are doing takeouts and delivery. This is really, really a difficult time for them. The fact that they cannot, it can only be takeout, and they're really counting on those revenues. So we don't know yet what the unemployment picture is going to look like, but we know that it's going to be a very tense situation. The city itself is looking at ways that we can support some of our small businesses, and that's something I really can't share yet, but we're hoping to make a decision on that on Wednesday. So we're all trying to pull together.
Very good. Well, we definitely appreciate your time today and everything that you do. And as Bob said, I'm going to echo that, the strength of a leader is being able to turn it on others and turn it into we. And clearly you are able to share that power intentionally and that leadership intentionally. And we thank you for that. So that concludes another edition of the Peninsula Biz Buzz. No more comments from me. Bob, back over to you.
Okay, last comment I have, and just to keep it light a little bit, I never have a conversation with Mayor Tuck where I don't bring up the Duke Blue Devils. So, sir, I'm sure going forward, you will be saying when times are better, boy, Duke would have won the national championship in 2020 if they had just been given a chance. Any comment on that?
I have to tell you, my heart is pained tremendously. I really feel sorry, not just for the Duke players, but for all the ones who are involved in NCAA athletics, and we're talking about all kinds of sports, that you sacrifice, you go through a season, and you're hopeful that at the end you can maybe find some new magic, and that won't happen. But same also for even our high school students who will miss having a regular graduation and the things that come with being a high school senior. So I'm paying for that, but certainly paying for Duke Blue Devils.
Yes, sir. I have one of those students about 2 rooms away from me right now, and he's missing out on his final track and field season and prom and all those types of things. So, yeah, unfortunate, but we will move on, and we will move on because we have good leaders like you. Thank you very much, sir. It's good talking to you. I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Super.
That's it from Peninsula Biz Buzz.